Hello and welcome to Adventures in VFK. This is Fairy Fanatic, and we're going to finish our fairy quest today. This is the second part of the day 7 of the fairy quest. Okay, so Elsie's parents, Arthur and Polly Wright, were determined to expose the faked pictures. These are their daughter took pictures out in the beck, and these are the famous pictures. You may have, if you've ever looked anything up on fairies, these pictures always come up. They searched high and low for any evidence that the girls had in any way tried to manipulate the pictures. Arthur and Polly looked in the trash for scraps of paper, pictures, or cutouts to prove that they had fabricated the fairies. They didn't find any evidence that the girls had created the pictures. In fact, the two cousins continued to profess that they had actually seen the fairies, had taken the pictures, and that the fairies were real. The pictures were seen by friends, but then the odd event ceased to receive attention. Go to the U.S. Marshal's office and say, "That's our story, Marshal." Yeah, I remember hearing about this, and if you ever look fairies up, these pictures are front and center. It's great. Okay, so let's go. We're going to the Marshal's office. Let's head on over. And, Western Age. Let's head over. You can see this is already spooky. Everything's spooky-fied for Halloween. And Marshal's office down here. Try to keep from falling into anything here. Gonna go way over. Marshal's. I feel like I'm in the Old West. Okay, here we are, going into... Oh, now you see these burning bushes. These are interesting. This is the new dragon. See the dragon? You just had kind of a flash picture of the dragon. But they have dragons now here. They're awesome. In fact, they had a green one, a red one, and a black one. I have all three. I haven't had a chance to go ride them much yet, but you can go around and set your those bushes on fire. They're very cool. Okay, so we're going to go here. We're going to put this next step in our quest. We need to be, this is going to make us be a fairy, so we've got to keep going. The fairy pictures first received public attention in the summer of 1919. Very old. Interestingly enough, it was Elsie's mother, Polly, who aroused attention in the pictures again when she attended a meeting of the Theosophical Society in Bradford. While listening to the lecture on fairy life, Polly told the person sitting next to her in the room that her daughter and niece had taken pictures of fairies. This discussion spurred interest in the rough prints, which they came to be called, and they eventually were brought to the attention of Edward Gardner, a leading theosophist. What is a theosophist? I have no idea. Theo is usually religion. A person who exposes hoaxes, a person who holds a certain philosophy and proclaims himself to be a lover of truth, an expert photographer, a fairy expert, a publicist. Philosophy. Well, I'm going to try this one first. Ooh, hey, got lucky. That doesn't always happen, as you know. All right, Epic Quest film review. Gardner directed that new negatives should be made from the positives of the original pictures. He asked that the new negatives should be as good as possible without tampering with the evidence. 2 top-flight photographers produced new negatives without altering the source pictures in any way. The new negatives were more clear and sharp and didn't reveal any hidden flaws that should have showed up on a sharper negative. Go to the Victorian storefront. I'm lost. And say, "I want to buy some more film for my camera." Okay, Victorian storefront. Let's head over to Victorian Age. Storefront. Let's see. Main Street. Get down in there. Okay, it is the place where the 13 Ghosts game is, and that's where you get this prize for playing finding all these ghosts in the different parts of the mansion, and they show up and you have to click on them, and you get this. Usually they have a skeleton. Okay. I think that's probably left over from last night. All right, let's go. I think she's saying the storefront. I think that's probably here. Let's try it. Ah, it was. Okay, question 4. The famous author and creator of Sherlock Holmes, who was also an ardent spiritualist, had been asked to pen an article on fairies for the Christmas issue of Strand magazine. He was expecting it to be published in November of 1920 when he heard of the photos. He arranged to contact Gardner and also to borrow the photos. Who is this famous author? Well, at least I know this. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Anyway, I've heard that he was involved in this. Correct. Press continued to advance to the next task of the quest. Okay, the prints were brought to photographic experts, and no evidence of fakery could be found. One expert in particular, Snelling, about whom it was said that what Snelling doesn't know about faked photography isn't worth knowing, told Gardner in a report on the rough prints that he could detect movement in all the fairy figures. He definitely proclaimed them not to be fakes. The photos were also examined by Kodak, who stated that an experienced photographer may have been involved, which many looked to be the result of the Kodak experts examining the sharpened pictures. Even though they did not find any evidence to support a hoax, they would not commit to proclaiming the photos genuine. Go to the last room of the Sydney Opera House in Australia and say what Snelling doesn't know about faked photography isn't worth knowing. All right. And we're headed to the last room. Australia, here we come. Going to Australia, going down under. Okay. This is the dragon. Well, this dragon, it doesn't look exactly like it, but that's the dragon. Okay, we want to go into the Sydney Opera House, so let's just head here. Very dark and spooky out here. All right, so we want to go around the back. It's that last room of the Sydney Opera House. And we're walking. And go around the back. These shoes were made for walking. I'm going to be flying soon. As soon as I get my fairy wings, I'll fly all around you. Okay. Here we go. I think this is probably the last room. Let's try it here. Yes, it is. Great. Okay, during vacation days in August of 1920, Francis was invited to return to Cottingley because Gardner was bringing a new camera for each of the girls when he came up from London. He was hoping that with the new cameras they could provide further photographic evidence that fairies existed. In his own words, Gardner told of his plan. I went off to Cottingley again, taking the 2 cameras and plates from London, and met the family and explained to the 2 girls the simple workings of the camera, giving 1 each to keep. The cameras were loaded, and my final advice was that they needed to go up to the Glen only on fine days, as they had been accustomed to do it before, and entice the fairies, as they called their way of attracting them, and see what they could get. Did the girls take any more pictures on August 19th, 1920, and how many did they get? Yes, the girls took more pictures of the fairies. No, the girls did not take any new pictures of fairies. The fairies were on to them. Yes, every picture the girls took had a fairy in it. Yes, the girls took 1 more picture of a fairy. Okay, there are 3 yes answers, 1 no answer. Oh, let's go with the one that's different to start. No. Okay, well, here we go. We know this anyway. We're already here. Enter it in, And let's see, they took pictures of 2 more fairies. Yes, every picture that the girls took had a fairy in it. I just don't remember much more about this. Let's try the top one. We'll just start going down. Ooh, hey, great. Sometimes I get lucky. A couple of days later, the girls took more pictures on Saturday afternoon and captured 1 more on film. They went up again on Saturday afternoon and took several photos, but there was only one with anything on. And it's a queer one. We can't make it out. Elsie put the plates in this time, and Arthur developed them next day. Oh, they were writing. Oh, this is a quote. Okay. All right, go to the outside of Merlin's magic shop and say, she did not take any flying after all. And outside of Merlin's magic shop. Here we go. Merlin's magic shop. Down in the bottom. Got a lot of pumpkins out here. No, 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 don't go in. Okay. Now we're headed. Oh, wow. See these bushes here? You can set those on fire with your dragon. All right, here we are. This is our last one. She did not take any flying after all. This is it. Question 6. In September of 1976, Austin Mitchell interviewed the adult Frances for Yorkshire Television. In the part of the interview where he asked about the photography, the following was asked: Mitchell, did you in any way fabricate those photographs? What was Frances's answer? Frances, of course not. You tell us how she could do it. Remember, she was 16 and I was 10. So then as a child of 10, can you go through life and keep a secret? Frances, yes, it was a simple childhood prank. We didn't think it would go so far. Frances, no, we would never have done that. Frances, yes, we thought it would be fun. It's got a lot of thing to it. Okay, there. So she was still denying it. In a later interview for the magazine The Unexplained, the cousins admitted that they had faked the photographs by holding up cutouts with hat pins. Frances, however, until her death in July 1986, Elsie died in April 1988, relayed that the cousins did see fairies and that the 5th photograph showing fairies in a sunbath was real. Some people believe that any confessions they gave in later life was done to protect the fairies after they were gone. The experts said that it was nearly impossible to hide the edges of a cutout and that it would show up distinctly. It has been said that you can't see a fairy unless you believe in them. Go to the zoo room in Australia and say, I believe in fairies. Okay. Zoo room in Australia. See, there's a dragon. Great. Oh, wow. Isn't that cool? Beautiful. I love the red dragons. Okay. Wow. I think when you set things on fire that you can get prizes and things, depending on what you set on fire. Okay, well, here we go. Kind of outside the zoo, right? And up in here, headed down under the zoo. Let's go down this way. I think we can get down here. Oh, move over, yes. Into the zoo. Okay. Going to the zoo. Zoo. I believe in fairies. Press continue to finish the quest. Now it says, thank you for playing the VFK Legends and History Quest Day 7. Your prizes have been placed in your inventory. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye here because I don't want to run out of time. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you soon. Bye.